Welcome back, everybody, to the Sports with Skiz show. It's me and your boy Naka here, episode 17. We're about to cover week 7 of college football. Is that what week we're in right now?
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
Season's over.
It sucks. It sucks. It's getting close to that time, but we won't think of it that way. Knock. Anything else changed since we last spoke?
No, I've been so deeply confused about this Bill Belichick, North Carolina situation. One second I'm hearing about a buyout of his contract, the next I'm hearing that Bill Belichick is on board with building a program there. So I'm not really sure. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Nothing definitive yet has come out. Of course, Bill Belichick of all people, he's just not gonna do a press conference, and if he does, it's gonna be the bare minimum. That is trash. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, it's a weird situation there. I was telling you, I was listening to Tom Fornelli, who does a good job with his college football stuff, and he was talking about how the AD didn't even really want to hire him. It was the Lombardi guy, I guess, that has his hand in the pot there in North Carolina. And anytime that your team has to come out and issue a statement about how the university is bought in with Bill Belichick and how Bill Belichick wants to be there, it's not really a good sign, to me at least, anyways. But say la vie, it is what it is. I'm not a Tar Heel, so I don't really care that way or that much. But Knock, go ahead. You can lead us off with your first game of this weekend that you're looking forward to.
Hey, baby, how about Friday night under the lights? Group of five.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about a couple of teams just briefly. South Florida, Navy, North Texas, Memphis. I love these guys. I love all of them. They are a few of them. Memphis came into the year, they were supposed to be really good, but the other three have exceeded expectations. And we kick it off with South Florida going into North Texas to play the Mean
Mm.
Green. Listen, last week, South Florida, 101 offensive plays. Okay. That is how they want to play their offense. And they do it well. They're 24th in yards per carry and ninth after contact when it comes to rushing the football. Big injury, though. Last week, they lose running back Hartavius Norton, the Iowa State transfer. I think it was a neck injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
5.2 yards per carry. But you know what? Serviceable running backs in Nakai Davenport, who had 79 yards rushing last week, Sam Franklin, who had 60 yards rushing last week. So, and of course, Byron Brown. The guy had like what do you have, like 160 yards versus Charlotte, 162
Yeah, it
yards
was
versus
something
Charlotte.
crazy.
So they mix it up with the run. They can throw the ball deep to wide receivers like Chaz Nimrod. They spread the field out a lot. I mean, they basically have their wide receivers on the sideline, which I personally don't like. But in this situation versus North Texas's defense, it could be a very viable option. North Texas likes to run a base. Your base 4-3, and what this is going to do playing South Florida is it's going to have to spread them out defensively. They're going to have to go a little bit more nickel, maybe a little bit more dime coverage, depending on how they line up. So I'm interested to see how the defense pans out there. Byron Brown has been great this year. 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Like I said, a buck 62 last week. He's got 250 rushing and 3 scores on the ground so far this season. But one thing about the Mean Green, and they're mean, they tackle, and they tackle at a very high rate, and they tackle very, very well. Um, I'm sorry, give me one quick second, bro. North Texas they're probably going to rely on the run game. And even though Drew Mestamaker, if I'm not mistaken, that's how you pronounce it, Mestamaker, he's
Mm-hmm.
on the ball extremely well. They have a running back, a freshman running back, who has been absolutely dominant on the ground over the past few weeks, and Caleb Hawkins. The kid is 6'2", 200 pounds, 307 rushing yards, and 7 scores on the season. That boy's a unit. Okay, he's dominant. He's playing. He's playing at an extremely high level for such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be very, very, what's the word, Mike? That's just going to be great for North Texas and their offense because Lord knows South Florida, even though their defense isn't terrible, they can't tackle at all. 101st in rush defense and 103rd
Mm.
in tackles missed on the season. Now, they've got a very good linebacking core. Mac Harris, Jalen Schuler, they lead the Bulls. South Florida is going to be my take on this game. North Texas just hasn't won anything too meaningful yet. I just think that so far, South Florida, I mean, in their schedule, they've played quadruple the competition. Give me the road team to win the game. And you know what? The winner of this game can very well go on to an American championship and have a potential bid at the college football playoffs. Give me South Florida on the road.
Yeah, I like that knock. I like this game a lot. I'm glad that you picked it. I figured it was going to be one of those ones that you enjoyed to do. So I'm glad you picked it. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. North Texas, like you said, they control the ball. Mestemaker not only has been throwing it greatly, he has 0 turnovers in the air so far with 11 touchdowns, I believe. So really, really good there. That's exactly what you want out of your quarterback. So the one thing that is going to be important for North Texas, we saw it against the run heavy team in Army. They gave up 387 yards on the ground. They're going to have to control the line of scrimmage against this powerful USF team as well, too. Like you said, they like to establish the run. They got the big quarterback that could take off as well, too. So they're going to have to be very, very sound on defense. One thing I want to shout out to North Texas, too. It wasn't too long ago, 10 years ago, in fact, they were basically rock bottom of their program, 1-11. And since then, the most wins that they've had was 9 coming in back-to-back seasons, actually, in 17 and 18. So this is the best that a North Texas team has looked in legit years. And for that reason, I'm going to ride with North Texas. I'm going to go against you with USF, excuse me. I don't really like to, because USF has, that darling feel to them this year that they could maybe make the playoff as an at-large team. I like the quarterback there. I like the coach, but it's going to be a sold-out North Texas crowd. The energy is going to be rocking. I'm hoping that they could feel off that. But either way, I think it's going to be a great game. I would like the over in that game as well, too.
That's funny. I was going to take the under in that game. So
Ah,
we'll definitely battle it out. But you know what? One thing
yeah,
I'll say in favor of you, you picked it earlier this year with like Ohio State, West Virginia kind of deal. And it's kind of the same scenario, right? I mean, um, West Virginia had to walk into Ohio. It's one of the biggest games that they played in their stadium versus a team of that caliber. So North Texas, it's a toss up ball game for a reason. So I
for
hear.
sure. For sure. No, it's a great game. That's going to be a nice little uniform matchup. I love North Texas's uniforms. USF had their throwback helmets on. I don't know if you saw last week with the bull.
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty cool too. So I'm definitely going to be locked in for that game tomorrow. But switching over to my first game, we got a little bit more of some powerhouses here. More specifically, I think one powerhouse to be completely honest. But I like this game here. Ohio State traveling to Champaign, Illinois. Ohio State's minus 14 and a half. Over under is 49 and a half. So the thing with this game, I mean, Julian Sayin is gaining more and more confidence. That first game against Texas, they kind of were a little bit reserved with letting him kind of sling the rock, but he's been great through the air. I think he has 3 games this year with over 300 yards passing. He only has 3 interceptions too. And actually, surprisingly, when I was doing my research for this, those 3 interceptions came against non-power conference teams, and one was Grambling State, where he had 2 interceptions. So he's been very, very good against those Power Four programs, completing at about 80% completion percentage as well too. Obviously, when you have one of the best, if not the best player in the country on your side in Jeremiah Smith, it's going to be nice to get the ball out to him, not to mention other, former 4 and 5 star receivers that they have there as well too. The biggest thing, though, that I like about this Ohio State team, their defense was tough last year. I think their defense is even tougher this year. Matt Patricia is doing a fantastic job. He's doing new looks, disguising things beforehand. It's overwhelming a lot of these quarterbacks who aren't really adapted well to reading defenses before the plays. Matt Patricia obviously has the NFL experience under Bill Belichick, even though we were ripping on him. He was, worked great together with him with the New England Patriots and saw a lot of success that way. So he's disguised and looks very, very well. And how could the defense not be good when you got guys like Caleb Downs, who's arguably, I said Jeremiah Smith might be the greatest college football player this year. Caleb Downs might be one of the best this year as well, too. You add in Caden Curry, Keontae Jackson Sr., and Sonny Styles. I mean, this defense is legit. They're ranked number 1 in the nation with scoring defense. They're only allowing 5 points per game, which is crazy to me. And they're ranked 3rd in total defense. So it's going to be very, very tough for Illinois switching over to them. If they're going to have any If they're going to have any fight in this game, Luke Altmaier is going to have to do what he did last week against Purdue. He threw for 390 yards. That was his career high in totals for a game. So he's going to have to do some more of the same. They're going to have to get that run game going. We saw it against Indiana when they had their other big game. They could not get it going. Luke Altmaier was running for his life. I think it's going to be very, very tough for them to do anything against this Ohio State defense, but there's always a shot. It's Ohio State's traveling into a little bit of a hostile environment. I'm sure Illinois still has that little bit of chip on their shoulder with letting up 63 points against Indiana in another primetime game where it was, a lot of people were looking forward to it, and it was basically over at halftime. So the defense is going to have to show up for Illinois against Indiana to keep it with them. 49 rushes. They allowed 312 yards and 6.4 yards per carry. So they got to tighten it up if they want to stop this Ohio State defense. Not only that, their defense ranks very, very bad in all avenues. Points allowed, they're 86th. Yards per game, they're 108th. Points per play, which is crazy, they're 83rd. And yards per game, they're 105. Not to mention, I think their best defensive ranking right now is 84th in opponent red zone scoring. So they're going to have to show up. They're going to have to try to create some turnovers to give their offense, some time. And the offense is going to have to want to control the clock to give their defense some rest against this great Ohio State team. So with that being said, I do like Ohio State minus the points. And honestly, I know it's very, very low with 49.5. I kind of like the under because I think if Illinois is going to have a fighter's chance, it's going to have to be low scoring. And I could also see it where if Ohio State gets on a roll, it's going to kind of be like last week's game against Minnesota where they put up 42, Minnesota put up 3. The over did still hit in that game, so shout out to them. But I kind of like the under a little bit in this, but I'm going to be rocking with Ohio State in the points, against the points.
It's hard, it's hard not to back that. Their defense is so absolutely dominant. However, though, when you look at Ohio State's schedule, I don't know if I can really put Texas up there as a team that was really, really, especially to start the season off, you know what I mean, as good as Illinois is. I think Illinois, as of this moment, is going to be their toughest test. And they're going to do it on the road, like you said, in a hostile environment. Illinois already came away with a victory against USC. The fans are definitely going to be there. They're going to be feeling themselves, and as they should be. Like you said, Altmaier needs to have a good game. I like Ohio State's defensive backs more than I like their front four. Caleb Downs probably going to be a top 10 pick, probably a top 5 pick, but top 10 pick. I think at some point 5 points per game or on average, it's they're going to give up a little bit more. I think Illinois' offense is going to stay in this ball game at least until the fourth quarter. When you look back versus Ohio, even against Washington, Ohio State's offense themselves, it takes them a second to get going. So I definitely am going to follow you there on the under. It's going to be a defensive ball game. Illinois is going to need to get away with who knows, maybe a couple of holding calls, here and there. Maybe maybe they've got guys, they've got weapons. They have a team. They're versatile offensively. So I like Illinois to cover 14 here, though.
All right. So we're against each other in that one too. I do like that. It's nice whenever we have a little bit of mixing up here. But yeah, Hank Beatty is a guy on the outside that obviously is very good for Illinois. Colin Dixon's going to have to step up as well too. I don't really see them establishing that great of a run game this week. So Luke Altmaier, I hope your shoulders are ready to carry the load there.
Let's see here. What else? What else you got, bro?
You want me to go again with my second game?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll keep it here with me. I had to talk about this game, the Red River rivalry, or the Red River shootout, as you're not allowed to call it anymore, because we're getting rid of all the guns. But Oklahoma versus Texas. It's Texas minus 2.5 right now. The over under, I don't know if this was a typo on me, 43.5. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Did I type?
Yeah,
I typed that out.
Starting at quarterback in Texas's offense has been atrocious.
Did they confirm Hawkins? I saw Mateer as when I was looking earlier today, it was listed as questionable.
Okay.
And to jump right into that, I'll start with Oklahoma. I'm switching up my stuff here, but I did have written down that he's questionable. I don't know if you saw rumors swirled. I think he was talking to someone at a Chipotle this weekend and said that he was going to play, or this past weekend
Oh,
and said
word.
that. So,
Well,
yeah, but I do have written down if he can't, it's going to be Michael Hawkins Jr., who's going to have to step in. He looked good against Kent State, but who the hell doesn't look good against Kent State? I mean, they're terrible. He threw for 3 tutties last week in the win against them, but we'll see here. I mean, regardless if Mateer is available or isn't, one guy that's going to have to show up on that offense is Torrey Blaylock, their running back. And he's been a beast. So if Altmaier is playing, it's going to be nice for him to get going. So, or I mean, not Altmaier,
Mateer,
excuse
yeah.
me. If Mateer is playing, it's going to be nice for Baylock to get going just to relieve some of that pressure off of him. He's missed a couple of games. He's going to want to get into that rhythm. If he isn't playing, and Hawkins is in, it's still going to be nice for him to show up to take a little bit of pressure away from Hawkins, taking his first start into a game against a defense like Texas. That's going to be a little bit tough. So he's going to have to step up either way. Oklahoma's defense, we said it on the preview or the recap from last week. We've talked about it numerous times. Their defense is legit. The only defense, basically, I feel like you might want to put it up pound for pound against Ohio State, to be honest with you. And one guy that I'm a huge fan of is R. Mason Thomas, number 32 on that defensive line. That dude is a beast. I don't know if you saw it, Oklahoma fans, if you're tuning in, I know you saw it. There was a sick picture taken of him after the win against Auburn, where it was a picture focused on him. It was blurry, but then you could zoom in and see all the fans rallying around him. So they're awesome. Along with Thomas, they also have 2 other guys that have 3 or more sacks with Jaden Jackson and Taylor Ween. So that defense is legit. The one thing that was crazy, though, Oklahoma ranked 113th in the FBS with a -4 turnover margin compared to Texas, who has a +3. So their defense is going to want to try to take the ball away from Arch. He's been giving it up to everybody he plays against. Pause. So Jaden Hardy has the only team's interception right now. So I think he's going to get another one this week. He's a legit player as well, too. And the Sooners are going to want to look to bounce back after last year's blowout 34-3 in this game. Let's switch it over to Texas. If you need a bounce back win, it's going to be this weekend. We saw them go into Gainesville and take that loss to a team that, we talked about if Florida's defense is good, their offense sucked, but I don't know. We got to see Arch. Arch got to show up today or this weekend. He's got to show up Saturday. He has to be a whole lot better in his pre-snap reads. I think that's one thing that he's really been struggling with. He hasn't been able to decipher if they're in a man-to-man, cover 2, cover 3. I think teams are having a good time disguising things against them, and they're going to need to find the run game. You have 4 backs that could play. You have 4 backs that have almost 30 carries apiece. So do something with it. Take some of that pressure off of Arch. The defense, continue to do what you're going to do. Anthony Hill Jr. is a beast. As well as LaFale, I think is his last name, the linebacker for them, and Ty Anthony Smith. So we'll see how that goes. Texas leads the all-time series 64-51 with 5 ties at the end of last year. So despite that, though, Oklahoma has been more dominant since 2000. They're 17-8. So with that being said, I don't really know how I'm feeling about this game, Knock. To be honest with you, I think one of the things that I do like is the over. 43.5 is just so damn low. It's kind of, they're wanting you. They're like, take it. We want you to take it. But then I could see this game being a fucking 10-7 finish. But I like the over. If Mateer is playing, I like Oklahoma with the points. If it's Hawkins Jr., I like Texas minus the points.
From what I understand after I was reading there for a moment, John Mateer is pushing to play. Obviously we have no control over what they say. We don't know if it's true or not, so questionable. That kind of looks like probable to me, but even still, coming off hand surgery, it's obviously not a major deal if they're pushing them to come back, two weeks later, if I'm not mistaken. So,
yeah.
Michael Hawkins played like 4 games last year. I think they were to end the season, played in the bowl game as well. He's got a little bit of experience underneath his belt. Oklahoma's defense is so good, it overshadows a very good Texas defense. And Texas is like top 12, if I'm not mistaken, defensively. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
they're only giving up a few points a game themselves. I think it's like 12.7 points per game. So if I'm in the ballpark without my notes in front of me there, Texas has a very good defense. So I can see why the over under is so low. At
Hmm.
some point, at some point, the offense has to start clicking. They have multiple running backs that they can get involved into the game. You know, Quintavious Wisner, he was really active last season. He's only got, if I'm not mistaken, 91 yards rushing on the year on 24 carries. So I don't know if it's a lack of production from him. I don't know if he's injured, but they've got other backs too with over 150 yards apiece. So they're running back
Hmm.
by committee. You got to help Arch Manning out. I need guys like Westco to get open. Parker
Yeah.
Livingstone disappointed me with only like 3 grabs last week for like 30 some odd yards. Like, come on, Texas, let's get it together and let's win back to back years in this rivalry because, quite frankly, something's got to give. Oklahoma's defense is not a complete brick wall of China. And with a two quarterback system, potentially a two QB system, I don't like it. I'm rocking with Arch Manning in Texas one last time, and so help me, Mike. So help me if they let me down again. I'm done. I'm walking
Yeah,
off the plank.
I could feel you on that. I mean, to go from preseason AP number one to unranked is kind of crazy to think about, especially with the talent that they brought in and also kept that came back as well too. And again, that's just another thing. You never want to believe the hype and the media bias of guys like Arch Manning who have had a ton of pressure before he even took his starts. I look back at some of the SEC media days, and I think there was a guy that asked him about his Heisman odds or whatever he is, and he was like, "I don't even know how they come up with that information. I played in what 2 games."
Yeah,
So he knew it as well too. Like the
yeah.
pressure's crazy. He's handling it very well. I will say that we've been a little bit hard on him on this show, but at some point,
We love
you
him.
know, yeah.
We
At some
love
point, it's got to
yards.
kick in. Yeah. So I put more of it on Steve Sarkisian. I think his game plans have really
Awful.
sucked this year compared to years prior. And he's had the world by the balls coming into the season, and he's kind of just letting it fly away. So we'll see what happens. That's enough with my game, though. Knock, what's your second one over here?
Yeah, my second one is a big one. It's the first Big Ten matchup between 5-0 teams averaging 30 points per game or better since 1904. Oregon
Holy
versus
shit.
Indiana. Oregon, a 7.5 point favorite at Autzen Stadium, over under 55.5. Mike, that number has been popping up. Place it in the lottery or something. 555 has just been coming across my screen as far as the over unders go
That
here
was my football number as well,
over the
too, just so you know.
booms. You know what? I gotta lay something down, bro. I got to. Listen, two quarterbacks who have a completion percentage of 70 a pop. Francisco Mendoza, 75%. Dante Moore, 73%. Listen, Dante Moore, let me talk about my guy, all right? He goes in there, beats Penn State, drops his nuts. He's a zone killer. He's locked in. He's not afraid. He's accurate. He's mobile. He's talented. Ice cold. He can read a defense. There isn't a bad thing I can say about this guy. Like, shit, I'm going to get the jersey, dude. Loading. I don't say this a lot, Mike, because you have to earn it from me. He's a killer. He's a
Yeah.
killer. However, my Spanish friend, Francisco Mendoza, on the other side, he reads defenses extremely well. The transfer from UNLV, he can adapt to quick situations. This guy can make any throw on the planet when it comes to a football field. However,
Transfer from Cal. I'm sorry, not UNLV.
who's the quarterback from UNLV? Who transferred
Huh?
to UNLV last year?
Saluka or whatever. He's
All
at JMU.
right,
But
okay.
this Mendoza's from Cal. You're good.
All right, say no more. Ready? Check this out. Boom. um, Killer. However, my Spanish friend Francisco. However, my Spanish friend Francisco Mendoza from Cal, he reads defenses extremely well and can adapt to quick situations. He and Dante Moore have two completely different football lives. He's had to work a lot. He's made a lot of adjustments And like I said, he can make any throw on the planet when it comes to a football field. This is going to be a pretty interesting battle, though, between Indiana's offensive line and Oregon's front seven. You've got guys like Bear Alexander, Uiagalelei. Mike was saying, who's the other linebacker last week that was just killing Penn State?
2 weeks ago.
He was,
Was it 44? The end.
yep.
He's a D end.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a beast. I forget
Ali,
it.
Ali,
Yes, he's like a Hawaiian name.
yes. Yeah, good ball
Polynesian.
player, stud ball player. Anyway, Mike, if you want to look that up for me and help me out here because I'm dying.
I
Um,
got you.
but yeah, against Penn State, Bear Alexander probably played his biggest game as a collegiate athlete. They have multiple guys on that defensive front.
Tui.
Tui. Okay.
Yeah.
Tui. I apologize, fam. Yeah, multiple guys that are over 300 pounds on the defensive line. And our defense has only given up like 1,100 offensive yards or yards to an offense this season. Indiana's offensive line, not bad, not bad at all. But they've given up 19 and a half sacks. So when Mendoza's under pressure, obviously, as any quarterback can be, it becomes a little bit unsettled there. But
Mm-hmm.
if Oregon just enough, they disguise their coverages. And they can use their front seven to get him off his rhythm there. This is really just a battle between not just two quarterbacks, but two great coaches. We're talking about pure winners here. Curt Cignetti and Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning is 40-6 in his career as a head coach, but Curt Cignetti, 135-37 is extremely impressive. He talked about it in that interview. Google me, and I did, and that's sick. Both are unbelievable, and you know what? They both kind of bring their own swag, their own aura to the locker room. One's younger, one's older, but it doesn't matter. Both teams are awesome right now. I don't have a definitive winner, Mike. I really can't, but you know what? I'm just so excited. I'm gonna take the over. I'm taking the over. This is gonna be a high-scoring affair. I'm thinking like 43-31. 43-31, but I can't determine a winner. I can't. We'll call it Oregon because they're home. Oh gosh.
I like it. I like it. No, I'm really really looking forward to this game as well too. Indiana's going to want to prove something. Both of these universities this year have prove it wins essentially. Indiana obviously dismantling Illinois, and then Oregon going into the White House or the White House, the whiteout, and spoiling Penn State season. Obviously, they were hungover from that loss last week and their other loss to UCLA. Had to mention that again, but I'm really, really looking forward to this game. Indiana, I mean, they're definitely better than they were last year, and they're going to want to try to prove that to people. They are walking into one of the most hostile environments in Eugene, Oregon, so that's going to be interesting to see. Looking at their running backs, I think that's going to be something that's going to help them, open up this game a little bit more for Fernando Mendoza with Hemby and Kenyon Keelan Black. Sorry, I'm messing up my words here, but they both have over 300 yards rushing on the year. So that's something they're going to want to do. And then I'm liking the matchups on the outside with Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper going up against Oregon's very, very talented secondary. So with that being said, I do like the over as well, too. I really don't know who I would lean to in this game. I'm hoping it's just a very close, very tight back and forth game that we get to watch. If anything, I hate to say it, I feel like I would lean Oregon -6.5. Just watching, if you haven't checked it out, please go watch Oregon's build up to the game against Penn State. They do like a mini series, I guess, every game, at least every game that they win. I forget what it's called. It's on Oregon Football's or Oregon Athletics YouTube page. I watched the one that they released after the whiteout game. I wanted to run through several walls. Dan Lanning, the way that he gets his players ready for big games, unbelievable. Knock, you got to watch it after we get off of here. I'm telling you, you're going to want to run through that wall behind you. But same thing on the other side. I do love Curt Cignetti. He's a PA guy, coached in the PSAC. So I'm just interested to see a really good game.
You know what? Before we get off of this game, I've got a pretty good little nugget here, and might make me lean the other way. As a matter of fact, these teams are 2-1 all time when playing. They played in 1904. They played in 1906. Oregon won. But 2004, Indiana walks in to Eugene, Oregon,
Mm.
and upsets the Ducks. I'm going to switch my pick. I'm going to switch my pick, Mike. I'm switching my pick. This is the first switch pick that I think I've ever had right then and there. I'm taking Indiana plus 7.5. Boom.
I like it. I like it. That's such a random matchup in 2004, Oregon versus Indiana. That's just so random for some reason. Now it's not as much. Still kind of random with Oregon being in the Big Ten. Still doesn't feel right. Um, but no, I like it. I'm very much so looking forward to that game. No, go ahead, kick us off with your last game.
Yeah, this will be my final one. Big game. There's a couple really good ones. It was hard for me to pass this up. Alabama versus Missouri. Let's talk about it. Okay.
I like that.
Um, Over under 51.5. Pretty much a toss-up game. I think the spread's at 3 even. Ty Simpson, even though he hasn't started before this season, he's been with this team for a couple of years, and he's got the experience, as do a lot of players on this Alabama roster. They've got to be locked in at noon versus Missouri on the road because it's got perennial upset spot written all over it, as well as Alabama has been playing. I know a majority of all gamblers and bettors will be taking them on the money line. It's a toss-up, like I said, but you know what? Even though Kalen DeBoer has flipped the script, even though Jan Miller is back, even though Ty Simpson is throwing the ball all over the football field, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for quarterback Bo Pribula.
Today, Junior.
Yeah. No, but seriously, and it's not just him, but running back Ahmad Hardy as well, who's one of, if not the best backs in the nation this year. He's got 22 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown last week, 730 yards on the ground, and 9 touchdowns already. Alabama did pretty well defensively against the run. However, Vanderbilt didn't run a lot, and when they did, there was a 63-yard touchdown that was involved. So Hardy very well could be a Heisman candidate, could be major, major issues for this Alabama defense. And again, Bo Pribula has been throwing the ball extremely well. Penn State looking like they potentially made a mistake there, maybe let the wrong quarterback go. I don't know. That's subjective, of course. But now typically I go against teams who haven't played a difficult schedule. Missouri fits the script for that. I mean, they played Kansas, they played South Carolina, but I'm pretty sure Lenora Sellers was hurt during that game or got hurt during that game, right?
I think he got hurt during it. Wait, no. He played in that game. He got hurt against Vandy.
Okay, understood. So, and those are two tough matchups for Missouri without question, and they're 5-0 for a reason. Their defense can't force any turnovers. I think they're exactly at 0 and haven't broken even as far as the turnover margin goes. They don't turn it over a lot, but they don't force turnovers to help themselves either. With that being said, Jan Miller is back on the scene for the Tide. Their rushing attack is now something that defenses have to worry about because through the first couple of weeks of the year, even though Bama's played pretty well, they still weren't getting the running game too actively involved. Jan Miller changed that. He's going to change their dynamic this week. Both teams have an extremely balanced offense. Neither quarterback has the game experience in terms of Ty Simpson and Bo playing against each other in this type of matchup. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting there. It's not going to be interesting. It's going to be better than interesting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exuberant. I'm going to be excited watching it. In my opinion, I think Alabama's defense is what's going to be the deciding factor. Alabama -3 is what makes sense to me. But I'm taking Missouri first half money line, baby. Pow!
I like that, Knock. Yeah, this is going to be a huge game. Missouri is going to be rocking. That stadium's probably going to be packed to the T's, sold out crowd. So I am excited to see that game as well too. As you said, it does look like Penn State kind of made a mistake with letting Pibula walk and keeping Aller, but who would have thought that? I mean, it is funny though. In years past, it kind of happened to him before with when they kept Sean Clifford and let Will Levis walk. Will Levis turned out to be an NFL quarterback. Sean Clifford might be on a roster, practice squad. We'll see what happens. But I really don't know what the hell I like in this game either. This is the perfect upset spot. However, I think Alabama's going to keep it rolling. So I'm going to take Alabama in this one as well, too, minus the points. So we'll see how that goes. But it's a big test for Missouri. So anything could happen in this one. Moving on to my last game here, we got another big matchup. Another one that's kind of weird to see with it being in conference, but Michigan traveling out to USC. USC somehow minus 1.5, over under 57.5. So USC, if you want to be taken seriously again, this is your shot. You folded against Illinois when you were ranked a couple weeks ago. You're unranked again. Is it the time to get back in to the ranking system here? So we'll see. But Jordan Mailata, he has been everything the Trojan fans have wanted. He's thrown for 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception, completed over 70 a clip. Their running game is super strong with Wayman Jones. He's rushed for 537 yards on the ground so far, and they do have one of the best receivers, I believe, in the nation this year with Mekhi Lemon, who's been just an absolute beast. So he's going to have to show up against this strong Michigan secondary. So on the defensive side of things, they are in luck. Michigan is a very run-heavy football team. They are very strong against the run, ranking 29th nationally at 108 yards per game that they're giving up. On the other hand, their pass defense is absolutely terrible. They stink. Ranked 111th in the country coming into the weekend. Eric Gentry and that front seven, they're going to have to show up to play. Michigan, I still don't think will change their game plan around for anybody. They're going to line up and they're going to try to punch you in the mouth. And I think that's what they're going to try to do to these California boys traveling to the West Coast. So switching over to Michigan, Sharon Moore obviously has returned since his suspension. So it's going to be interesting to see. Is he going to let Underwood, sling the rock a little bit more and get it going a little bit earlier in games? We saw, I think last week he threw for 270 yards. So he has that arm talent. And on the outside, they have Donovan McCulley, Michigan wide receiver. He's the first Michigan wide receiver to have over 100 yards receiving in a game since Pittsburgh Steeler Roman Wilson 2 years ago, which was crazy as hell to think about on that championship run that they had. Obviously, we talked about the run game. They have Haynes. They have Marshall. It's a great 1-2 punch. They're always looking to have a long run of over 50 yards. I feel like there could be another one coming this game as well, too. So, again, they're going to line up. They're going to play a little bit of fuck you football. They're going to try to punch him in the mouth as well, too. So we'll see what happens on their defensive side. It's going to be tough to see what happens. Are they going to be able to contain that pass offense of USC? Right now, they're ranked top 25 in all categories defensively, except for passing yards allowed. They're ranked 59th, which isn't too bad, but it has to worry you a little bit with USC's pass-heavy offense coming into the game. So we'll see what happens. They do have 7 interceptions as a team coming into this game. So with that being said, I kind of like Michigan in this spot with the points, and I'm kind of leaning under in this game as well, too. So give me Michigan. I don't know if I'll be betting the over and the under. If anything, I will take the under. Both teams do have strong turnover margins. USC's ranked 25th nationally at a +4, and Michigan ranks 10 at +6. So if anybody's going to want to win this game, they're going to want to have to take care of the football.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. For me, it's kind of a no-brainer. USC here, 3-0 at home. I think they keep that going, and it's just pretty simple. Michigan. There's one way a team like Michigan can beat a team like USC. Such a high-scoring offense, and it's pretty basic. You said it. They're going to run the football, all right. But if USC's defense can contain the run, get some points up early, and force Bryce Underwood into a situation where he has to come behind to throw the ball, I don't know if Michigan is capable of doing that offensively. Now, one thing I like about Michigan, it's not just Bryce Underwood. It's not just Justice Haynes. You said it last week, Donovan McCulley balled at wide receiver. So there's always like somebody new for Michigan that's kind of coming onto the scene and helping them out and contributing in a major way on the offensive side of the ball. Defense as well. We know that their defense is locks. But I saw what Mekhi Lemon could do. I know what he's capable of. Jordan Mailata, this guy can throw the football. When I just say all over the field, you have to understand, like, he can throw corner routes 30 yards down the field in a tight window with coverage and put it into the hands of his wide receiver. This kid has proven a lot to me this year. This is going to be such a tough test because Michigan is good. Like I said, Michigan has to travel all the way across the country. Michigan's 5-1. I'm going to take USC at home.
All right. Yeah. I figured, honestly, I figured that we would kind of, I was wondering if we would be against each other in this one, kind of like how we were with Illinois and USC. So I think it's going to be interesting. I could definitely see USC winning this game. Um, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens, to be honest with you. So,
I like,
uh,
yeah, I'll be honest. I do. I like USC.
yeah, no, that's a good pick. I mean, they do have that pass heavy offense. Malachi has really lived up to everything that Trojans fans could have hoped for this year. So that'll be good to see. Knock, do you have any like quick hits, any other games that you're kind of liking that we didn't really go over?
Yeah, there's actually a couple of there's some good games this weekend, man. Hold on.
Oh yeah, this weekend is really good. If you want to
How
take your
you feeling?
time,
Let me ask you this real quick while we have how you feeling about Pitt after such a big win? You saw what your quarterback is capable of going into this game. They play Florida State, and Florida State, like they're in all different kinds of sorts right now, right? So, I mean, how you feeling about them going into play Florida State?
it's going to be interesting, right? I just being a lifelong Pitt fan, unfortunately, I know how these seasons go. It's like they kick you in the nuts, and it's like, well, hold on, we got an ice pack for you. Let's get you well rested, and then it's like, boom, another one right there, and it's the knockout punch. So we'll see. They're traveling into a hostile environment. I think Florida State's going to be pissed off the way that they came out and played against Miami and just looked like complete trash. Mason is going into his first ever road game. It is a bad environment. Florida State's defense is pretty good. I don't know. I mean, plus 10.5, that's a lot of points right now that they're getting. I probably would rock out with the Panthers. I don't think I'm going to bet on the game, but if they're going to continue that, they're going to have to try to lean on the run a little bit more. Mason's very, very good, but we'll see. I don't know. It's like a long winded, not answer really, but again, all my Pitt fans out there kind of know how I'm feeling. You want to get up for the game, but you never know.
Yeah, we've got games like Texas Tech, Kansas, LSU, South Carolina. One game that I like in particular, we have been talking shit on these guys all year, and here I am. I'm going to take them versus number 5 Texas A&M, Florida, coming off a win. If you listen to me, you probably like this guy's just so wishy-washy and can't figure it out. I'm a spot guy. I watched Texas A&M win 31-9 versus Mississippi State last week. Mississippi State was missing both their starting left and right tackle coming into the game, and their quarterback, what's his for Jaden Reed? Is it Jaden Reed? No.
Jalen or no, Marcel.
Marcel Reed.
Yeah.
He was 2 for 11 to start the game with an interception or two. I mean, I'm not really impressed with him. I think this is a spot for Florida to upset and to kind of get their fans back on board. Maybe they just have one of those seasons that's just so weird. You know what I mean? Mike's over there shaking his head no. I don't know. Texas A&M, like 31-9, they didn't look as good to me as the score shows.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, in their other games that they have played, I mean, they have looked, pretty dominant, to be honest with you. Besides that, and besides, like their lowest scoring game was Auburn. They scored 16 points, but their defense, has been showing up as of late. And they have two of the best wide receivers that you could have went out and got in the portal. So I do like Texas A&M. It's at home. College Station, as weird as it is with the yell leaders and stuff like that. It's going to be, oh my God. Yeah. They're actually, did you see, shout out to the yell leaders. They're switching. They usually wear all white. They're wearing all black
Oh,
this
wow.
weekend. I guess they're having a blackout. I'm sure some of the students are also having blackouts for that game. I hope they make it into it. But I'm going to ride with the Aggies on that. That was one game that I was looking at. 7.5 is steep, but I think they're going to bounce back. They did look kind of shaky, especially on offense last week, but the defense, that has to be a little bit of a plus for them from that game. So I do like that. There were some other games here that I was looking at. Cincinnati versus UCF, excuse me. I like them minus 10.5 at home, another 12 o'clock start. UCF just isn't all that to me. Cincinnati had a big win. This is where sometimes I get slapped in the face, though. It's like a team coming off a big win, comes out and then sleepwalks there. I also like give me Ole Miss minus 31.5 against Washington State at home. I
Ooh, I
think that
don't know.
they're gonna.
I really like Washington State money line in that game, bro. I don't.
Oh, you're nuts. You're
No.
nuts. They're, Lane Kiffin isn't letting that happen. I know that they have Georgia next week, but Lane Kiffin appeared on the Pardon My Take podcast last week, and the boys in Big Cat and PFT offered Lane Kiffin if they needed bulletin board material to hit him up or to hit them up, and to which Lane Kiffin did. And now they have some bulletin board material. If you want to look at that, go to Lane Kiffin's Twitter. He quoted it. So I do like that. I do also like Northern Illinois minus 2.5 at Eastern Michigan. That's a weird game, but I'm kind of liking that a little bit. I also like Maryland plus 6.5 against Nebraska. I think that's going to be nice. Give me Penn State, as much as I hate them, minus 21.5 against Northwestern. I think they're going to come out to play pretty pissed off. And then I also love Tennessee minus 11.5 against that terrible, terrible team down in Arkansas. They're at home against them. So I do like that. Is there any other games that I was looking at that I kind of had a feel for? Arizona State and Utah. Any thoughts on that?
No, and I'll tell you why. It's because I'm focused on Arizona without the BYU. That's why I was getting to.
Bro, not to cut you off, that was almost going to be one of my games that I talked about. I do Arizona. They're looking pretty nice this year. A little juicy
on the season. They
little juicy. Bear down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Arizona State, Houston, or Utah will be interesting. Who's home in that game? Just out of curiosity. I don't have it up.
It's for Arizona State. Did you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Arizona State is away at Utah. Utah's minus 5.5.
Yeah, I don't know if Utah's going to lose that one at home after Texas Tech came in there and whooped up on them in their home stadium. So I'm going to rock out with the Utes.
You're a good Ute, fam. It's a 10-15 Eastern kickoff. I do kind of like Utah in this spot as well, too, but Arizona State has looked very strong since they took that loss to Mississippi State. So we'll see how that goes. One other game, I don't know how I forgot about this, too. Added to my card, Clemson minus 13.5 against Boston College, because holy shit, if Boston College comes out and looks like they did against Pitt, Clemson should be able to put 50 up on them. So I like that there. Games in other regions that we're going to be looking forward to, or at least myself. North Dakota State is hosting. That's number one. North Dakota State in the FCS is hosting number 9 Southern Illinois. That should be a good game. Number 6 UC Davis is hosting number 16 Northern Arizona. Number 12 North Dakota is hosting number 20 Youngstown State. And Abilene Christian is going on the road to number 21 West Georgia. Abilene Christian's number 21 as well too, so they're tied for that spot. It's the fight. Give me that number. I'm taking 21 off you. That's going to be a very good game there. So I'm interested to see how that goes. And also too, we forgot about this. Shout out to Gannon University. You know who they upset last week? That just went under the radar for me?
Yeah.
Slippery Rock.
No.
They upset Slippery Rock. Gannon was 0-4.
Wow.
0-4. Slippery Rock lost. I'm pretty sure they're ranked number 25 now. They dropped the whole way to number 25.
I'll officially say Slippery Rock. I'm really sorry I jinxed you guys. Going into your game versus Cal, I was the one saying that you guys had a shot at the national championship. Blame it on me. I'll blame it on me.
Say a prayer for my former school that I attended for a little bit, Lock Haven University. They have to host number 4 Kutztown. So I don't know how that's going to go for them. Kutztown also beat another school that I'm very familiar with, Shippensburg, last week, 49-0. So they're a very, very tough team. California, PA, where are they at here? Did they take a loss? They lost 2 last week. Wow. They got upset to Seton Hall. Where am I going with this? I thought I was staying on top of it. I'm missing all this stuff. Seton Hill. I said Seton Hill upset California last week. They only let them score 7 points. That's crazy. I guess Cal PA and Slippery Rock both had hangovers from that game because it was a doozy.
Yeah, and I feel bad. You highlighted them a second ago. Youngstown State, they go from playing South Dakota State to playing who are they playing this week?
South Dakota.
Yeah,
Or no, North Dakota.
or
Excuse
North
me, North
Dakota.
Dakota.
Okay.
Yeah, number
Regardless,
12 in the country.
yeah, a little bit easier of a matchup. But yeah, at Youngstown State, you're in the rankings now, and you're playing with the big boys. So
Shout out to the Penguins.
yep.
They were hanging tough. They were actually up. I think they were up by like 2 scores in that game against South Dakota State last week. They ended up letting it slip away from them and losing 35-30, unfortunately. But shout out to the Penguins. Their uniforms are sick, especially since they switched over from the putrid Under Armour to Nike. You always got to love that transition. As far as our Division III brothers, one big shout out that I got, Carnegie Mellon, come on, you Ivy League bastards of Division III. They're also taking on another Ivy League school, Division III, with Johns Hopkins, who's 4-0. Johns Hopkins ranks third in the country.
I smoked
Carnegie
pot with
Mellon
Johnny
sitting at 15.
Hopkins and Sloan Kettering.
Great movie. Great movie. There's some other good rankings, good ranked matchups, excuse me, I should say. Hardin Simmons, they're a very, very good Division III school. They're ranked 6th in the country. They're taking on number 2022, Mary Hardin Baylor. So there might be a little bit of some family rivalry, I guess, with those universities. Don't really know. I think they're both located in Texas.
Gotcha.
Yeah. With that being said, Knock, you got anything else here?
Man, again, we cap it off like this every week, and I'm gonna say the same thing. I'm just excited. We don't have a single day. We're without football for the next Mike? 48 days now. 48 days.
Yeah.
So enjoy it, people. A lot of college. Maction will be back.
Hell yeah.
College football is going to be here soon, so that's going to be horrible but fun at the same time, right?
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. That's when Maction's the best on the Tuesday nights.
Shout out Missouri State.
Yeah, shout out. Thank you. I was actually, you read my mind. Shout out to Missouri State. They got their first Conference USA win last night against Middle Tennessee. I was watching that game for a little bit. That was awesome. Big thumbs down to UTEP. They lost to Liberty in the weirdest score, the most Conference USA score of all time. I think they're both in the Conference USA. And 19-8. I don't know if you saw that at all, but that was a disgusting game. Also, is it Malachi Nelson or whatever his name is? That was the former 5-star recruit.
Yeah.
He got benched. He didn't start. He came into the game. They looked shitty. I don't really know where you go from there for him. So, that's all I really have for today. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Like I said, we're just getting started. We're very, very fresh here. Make sure you check us out on all socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, everything that you could think of at Sports with Skiz. Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you again soon.